If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's certain tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place.
Ooh, witchy woman, see how high she flies. Ooh, witchy woman, she got the moon in her eye.
Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast, and we're having a little wine and podcast.
Nice little wine night.
So, if you guys didn't listen to the last episode right before this, it was the how to be the best version of yourself. It was right around the new year. We just did some points on pretty much what you want your life to look like, and are you the main character, just stuff like that. We didn't get to finish, so this is part 2 for that.
We're basically going to pick up right where we left off. We had a couple different bullet points, and the next one we kind of just talk about self-regulation and self-care. So my little bullet point says, do you even love yourself, which is a lot to take in, but when we're talking about self-love, I feel or self-care even is a part of self-love, and people feel it's got commercialized almost. Everybody's I'm gonna get a skin mask and I'm gonna fucking wash my hair and put cucumbers in my eyes, or I don't know. But it's deeper than that, and you just have to learn how to take care of yourself, and that comes from loving yourself. So you gotta love yourself before you start taking care of yourself.
I have a bullet point on this. So I watched a TikTok video the other day, and it was literally kind of do you even love yourself? But she was explaining in the video how to love yourself is to literally romanticize every single thing you do in your life. It was a good video.
Yes, that goes in with the main character thing.
Yeah,
because
it's
you start to care about yourself.
She was even romanticize the fact that you're getting coffee today, and you're running errands. She's if you don't think about errands and chores, and you start to romanticize
make it the biggest deal ever.
Yeah, that's what she was saying.
And that too, even you asked me earlier how long it takes to do my hair, and I tell people all the time, I'm half the time it's a chore to do my hair, but then half the time it's actually really nice. And also another part of the time I'm oh, this is gonna be so annoying to have to sit down and do this, and then I sit down and do it, and I'm that was actually really nice to just sit down and just be doing my hair and tending to myself, and I feel so hot after too. It's so good. So it's just changing your attitude about stuff. I wrote down take a deep breath, more helpful than people think, because I feel everybody is calm down, take a deep breath, and people are okay, taking a deep breath isn't gonna pay my bills, it's not gonna help me, but it does. It's biologically gonna help you, and I'm not joking, it's not gonna help you pay your bills, no, but it'll help your mind not be in a fight or flight state. Right. When you're in that state, it affects your entire body. You can fuck up your digestion just by being stressed out.
Yeah.
Because your mind does not know the difference between actual threats and perceived threats. So if you are sitting here hating yourself in the mirror every day, you're constantly in fight or flight, not digesting your food, not being you're not feeling good. Take a couple of deep breaths. Look up breath work.
I was gonna say breath work's really good.
I always recommend to people box breathing, and I've never had somebody tell me it doesn't work.
Is that the one?
So it's
the 4 count.
It's in for 4, hold for 4,
and then out for 4,
hold for 4.
Yeah.
And I've had friends that have called me in the middle of panic attacks. I had a friend that took an edible, got a little bit too high. She was okay, I'm not freaking out, but my heart is beating. And I was let's just breathe. And I counted it out for her. She was why did that work? And I was I take that shit meds, bro.
Yeah.
As soon as I start not feeling good, I'm all right, in for 4, hold for 4, out. You would be so surprised, because when you're breathing that slow, it is impossible for your mind to be going crazy like that. You're just focused on that. So breath work does work. And
It
don't
does,
knock it till you try it.
It's really simple, too. Like, it's really just...
And it's free.
Yeah. Seriously.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like,
the government doesn't
I don't know about anybody else. I'm not anti-therapy at all. I'm pro-therapy for literally everybody. I've never been to a therapist, though, because when growing up, I, like, just didn't have access to one.
Yeah.
So I had to find other things.
Yeah.
And I got super into, like, wellness, yoga, meditation, and I'm not saying that's the only answer, but it definitely helped.
Yeah, no, for
helped
sure.
me find out how to, like, cope alone.
It definitely
If I don't have anything or anyone else but myself, it helped me find out how to cope.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Yeah, that's a big part of it. You're not your mental illness.
Yes.
I feel like that's a big one, and that ties into the other
huge.
one, which addiction to mental illness and sadness. And I kind of want to talk about, like, I want to, like, give a disclaimer, because I don't want to, like, speak largely on just, like, people, because I know people struggle, and I'm not trying to take away from anybody's struggle or say that, like, if you just forget you have depression, like, it'll go away, like, because that's not true. But I feel like a lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of people, like, just kind of get a diagnosis of almost anything and just attach themselves to it.
Right.
Well, I've been told by, like, a psychiatrist that I'm anxious, so I have anxiety and I'm just an anxious person and that's how it is. And it's like, it doesn't have to be that's how it is. Yes, you have and struggle with anxiety, but you are not anxiety, and you don't always have to be anxiety. Like, I feel like I have known people in the past that would not, like, genuinely know who they are without their mental illness, because it comes up in almost every conversation, or it comes up crazy. And it's sad, and it's not like I'm sitting here being like, oh my god, like, you don't really have it. Like, I believe you do, but it's also like, you don't have to, it doesn't have to take over your life.
Yeah, you don't have to identify
it might feel
with
like it, but
yeah.
you know, when somebody gets, like, diagnosed with any other illness, it's like, yes, it sucks, but it's something that they're dealing with. It's not them. Like, you don't fucking get pneumonia and then people are like, oh, you're pneumonia.
Yeah.
You don't bring it up every fucking time. You know what I mean? So it's like, not that it's necessarily the same thing, but it's definitely something to think about. Are you, like, uncomfortably attached to your mental illness? Or are you, like, using it as a crutch?
Yeah.
Because if you are, that's just, it's not helping yourself, you know? You might be digging yourself into a bigger hole. You're dealing with it, but you aren't it, you know?
For sure. And then you also, if you have, like, paranoia about it, you're kind of just assuming that that's how everyone sees you anytime they hear your name or see you or interact with you, which is not true at all.
Like, I was with a friend once, and we met up with somebody. It was literally for, like, 2 seconds. And they left, and it was just, like, a really chill time. And then the person was like, was it just me, or was that, like, really awkward? And I was like, what? I was like, what do you mean? And they were like, well, like, did I sound like stupid? And I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, we literally were first of all, we were there just, like, for 2 seconds. Like, it was, like, a chill interaction. Like, it was not that big of a deal. And that's not to say that, like, their feelings are invalid. Like, that probably is just anxiety, but it's one of those things where it's, like, you're getting in your own head about it, like, being like, I was acting weird, but it's like, you said 4 words. So, like, I don't think you're
like, no,
like,
literally. Or when people are like, I don't know, I'm trying to think, like, do you hate me? Like, you know, stuff like that. And it's like, why are you talking about? Like, no, like, you didn't even, what?
And I feel like that stems from a place, too, of, like, because that's anxiety, but that's not inherently anxiety. Like, if you think about the root of a question, like, do you hate me? Or do you really like me? Or do you actually love me? I feel like the root of that is, like, for whatever reason, obviously you're anxious that they don't, but also, like, I don't know, maybe it's just me. I have this attitude of, like, if you don't, okay, then.
Yeah.
Like, if I have to, like, ask you every 2 seconds, if I'm starting to feel like you don't, like, we can just fucking cut it off.
Yeah.
Like, that's my type of person. I know not everybody's like that, but I'm the type of person that's, like, I really don't care. Like, obviously, like, yes, if we're friends, I want you to like me. But if you were to come out, like, right now and be like, you fucking suck. I'd be like, oh, well, fuck you. Like, that fucking sucks. But I guess that's over now. Like, what the fuck? I would just, like, be like, all right, well, moving on. like, it's just... I always, I think thinking about the worst case scenario can make a lot of people anxious. But I think about the worst case scenario kind of in the sense of, like, worst comes to worst, this person does hate me. Yeah. And then it's like, okay, well, that's embarrassing for them because they keep asking me to come over. Yeah. And, like, hang out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, think about it, like, logically. Like, if I'm asking you to hang out and, like, we're hanging out. Yeah. Why are you asking me, like, do you hate me? I do. No.
I can't with that. That's, like, really, like, oh, my God. I have this story.
I know anxiety is not logical and that you can be anxious about something like that, genuinely.
It's like I wouldn't ask.
But that's what I'm saying, where it's something where it's like you kind of need to unlearn your anxiety. And I'm not saying it will make it go away forever because that's something that sticks with you no matter what. But it's like a way to cope is to literally like kind of retrain your brain. Your brain makes pathways of like patterns and you can make new ones and destroy old pathways. So if you're so used to like asking yourself after every time you hang out with somebody, like, was I weird? Did they hate me? Like, I always say the what if trick of like, because I know so many people who are anxious and I'll be like, what if I fail? Like, what if this? And I'm like, what if you don't?
Right.
And it sounds, I think I brought that up in the last one, but it sounds so, it sounds so stupid because it's like, okay, well, and I'm not saying you need to believe it, but like, it's just as easy to believe that you could be successful as it is to believe that you could be a failure. Yeah. Like, it's just, both are just as likely. So why not like, just ask about the positive instead of the negative?
Because like, here's the thing, like, to people, failing is way more scarier than like, actually
and succeeding. It is, but it's like, just picture what it would be like if you succeeded.
Yeah, true.
Like, I always, every time I get to, because also, I mean, not to get into the whole, like, all that really exists is right now, but like, that's a huge part of just like calming down about everything. Because like, I get anxious all the time. I deal with a lot of this stuff, so I'm not like over it or like, you know, feel like I'm above it or anything. But every time it happens, I'm like, you know what, that is not right now. Yeah. Right now is right now, and I don't, it's something I'm very much I'll cross that bridge when I get to it type of person. Mm-hmm. Like, keep it in the back of my head, make mental note, but I'm not going to sit here and worry myself sick over something that is not happening. Yeah. Like, no, or like seriously. Right now, like, I can't. And the only way, and that's not even like, I'm like recommending that, like, that's literally the only way I'm able to get through life is through just being like, it's not happening right now. Like, let me just focus on the present moment. Right. Like, if I can, then I'm going to choose to do that.
So, I have this story that, so this girl at my work right now, I don't think you know her, you didn't work with her.
Yeah, everybody's new there. Like, every week.
She, like, hates me for no reason, right? I've also never said more than, like, 2 words to her, and she hates me. And one of my coworkers said that she hates me because she had a dream about me. And, like, just shit went down in the dream.
What the fuck does that even mean? And it makes her hate. What does that even mean?
That's what I said, and that's what me and my coworkers
are you living in? If you, like the girls
that is so petty.
Or just anybody that gets mad at, like, their significant other because they have a dream about them cheating. Yeah. You cheated in my dream. Like, bitch, what? Like, come.
Like, that was your subconscious.
Step into reality. Like, like, I didn't even do anything. Like, I'm right here.
So she, like, legitimately hates me at work because of that. Because of something with fuzzy Crocs and her boyfriend.
Not you causing fucking mischief in other people's dreams. Making them hate you.
It's so funny. It actually gives me all the power, though. It's
Imagine,
fine.
like, apologizing for that. Like, I'm so sorry. I heard about your dream.
I'm so sorry.
And I just want to say...
I know. I'm like, how do I approach that? Like, if she ever gives me shit...
You can't approach shit that doesn't make sense.
If she ever gives me shit, I just want to be like, yeah, it says the one with the dream about me that hates
fan
me.
behavior. And she told other people
yeah,
that's not her being obsessed with you.
Bro, that's why I'm saying mean, like, you're telling our coworker that's obviously gonna fucking tell me,
weird. That's so weird.
All my fans.
Oh my goodness.
It makes no fucking sense. Like, I've never said more than 2 words.
Get it together. I can't.
She's like, I know this is petty, as she's telling my manager, but...
I had a bad dream about her, so, like, I don't
And
want
my
to work with
manager's
her.
like, bro, or, like, my shift supervisor, she's like, this is embarrassing that you're telling me this. Like, why are you telling me this? Like,
I can't.
it makes no sense.
Yeah.
Is that one?
Yeah.
You didn't touch on that one yet.
Well, yeah, I was talking about, like, addiction to, like...
I just saw another TikTok on this, too.
Addiction to mental illness. So, when I say addiction to mental illness, I'm talking about people that absolutely refuse to believe... Not to believe, but, like, refuse to be anything outside of their mental illness or, like... You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The best way I can describe it is, you know how there's, like, those memes about people and who like astrology, and they're like, you're not a bitch because you're a Scorpio. You're a bitch because you're a bad person. Like, yeah, you're, like, I feel like it's the same with, like, mental illness. Like, I feel like I know a lot of people that are like, well, I can't do this because of blah, blah, blah. Or I'm not able to be that way because of blah, blah, blah. And it's, like, I'm not saying it's not hard, and I'm not saying those people are lying. Like, I'm sure it definitely feels that way sometimes, but if you never try, you're never going to know.
Right.
I'm talking about people who are absolutely making no effort to better themselves.
Right.
And be, or work with their mental illness. Because it's not like, I mean, you don't get to choose it. Like, obviously it just happens to you, and that fucking sucks. So I'm not saying, like, you need to, like, banish it, get rid of it. Like, sometimes that's not even possible. But what I'm saying is, like, if you're not willing to, like, work with it, because I definitely had really bad anxiety and depression, and I would almost say that, like, I just don't deal with it as much anymore. If it's there, then I definitely have, like, dark moments, but I've worked in a lot of, like, coping skills and things that, regulating skills that, like, bring me out of dark spaces when I'm in them. So it doesn't mean that it doesn't happen. It happens, and it doesn't mean that when it happens, I'm not, like, dying inside.
Yeah.
I let myself cry. I feel my feelings, but I don't sit in it. There's a difference.
Yeah.
Like, you can stub your toe, and you can tell everybody about it for the next 2 weeks, or you can stub your toe, be like, holy fucking shit, that hurt. Tell somebody about it at work, and then move on with your day.
Yeah.
Like, there's a difference. So I'm not talking about somebody who's, like, dealing with something, can't get out of bed, like, whatever. That's different. But I'm talking about people who are like, I don't want your self-help book. Like, I don't want to know about that. Like, I've had people tell me breathing exercises are stupid. Like,
but it's like, did you even ever try?
And you didn't even try it.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you try it and it doesn't work for you, then that's fine. But, like, you know, it's the thing where it's like, I feel like it's understandable, because a lot of people are almost, when you're sad for that long, or in that for that long, it's like, that's all you know.
Yeah. Like,
is being miserable.
And that's what you're comfortable with at that point.
Yeah, but you
have
to learn how to get out of that. Like, you can't be the victim of your own, you know what I mean? Like, you can't just always be the victim. Yeah. But that doesn't mean it, obviously you're not being plagued with it. Like, it still sucks, but, like, there's times where you don't have to be the victim, and you can come out of that. So that's what I mean when I talk about addiction to mental illness and sadness, because it definitely can be, like, an addicting thing, I feel like, sometimes, to just, like, stay in it.
Yeah, for sure. And then it swallows you.
Yeah.
Wait, is this our next point?
No, the next one is
not.
like,
It's
on the other page. So we're shifting into the topic of confidence. And then that was when I was talking about my whole theory of everyone has the potential to be hot and ugly people don't exist.
Yes.
So let's get into it. I want to hear your opinions.
Let's get into it.
I want to hear your opinions on it.
What I'm kind of getting from it is, let's see. Having confidence makes you more attractive. Mm-hmm. So there's literally just certain, like, small things, like, as small as literally standing up straight and making sure that you're not slouching already puts up, like, points. Like, that already makes you hotter. Also, if you just, like, put yourself together a little bit. Just, like, a little bit. You don't even have to, like,
to go crazy.
Overdo it.
I don't wear a lot of makeup ever.
No, but, like,
when I go crazy, I put on eyeliner and mascara.
There was this video that I saw that was, like, It was called something. It was like 2 out of 3. I don't even remember what it was called, but it was like you can get away with, if you do your hair really cute, you don't have to do your makeup.
Yes.
And then you can do your outfit.
Can we talk about this?
Or vice versa. You can do your makeup and make your hair like a bun or whatever you want to do. So like you do one or the other. And
I have an anecdote with that because in high school, me and my friend were kind of opposites. I always cared about my hair and my fit, and she always cared about like a full beat like on her face.
Yeah.
And she was good at it. Like she still is good at it. So she like her, not that her outfits were like fucked up or anything, but like she was like wearing more like chill clothes, but like had like a full beat on her face. And then I would like literally be wearing no makeup and then like have like my hair in like space buns and like have like an edgy outfit. And we both look so hot.
Yeah.
All the fucking time. And it's just because we like felt good about ourselves and like did the one little thing. Like for her, it was like a full thing on her face. And for me, it was just like a cute outfit, but we were both confident and like just like felt good about ourselves. And yeah, I do believe that. I don't think you have to do the whole 9 to feel like confident. I think you can just like do a little bit.
Yeah. I forget what it was called, but it was something like, it was not like 3, 2, 1, but it was something, and it made sense. I was like, wow, that's cute. Like, you know.
Yeah.
So what's your take on it? What was
my take on, okay, with the whole ugly people don't exist. I think this is not to say that everybody is attractive, because attractiveness is subjective, like whatever. But it's to say that everybody has the potential to be hot. When I say that, I mean if you're taking someone else, if you're like, taking to like, there's so many people that exist. I'm sorry. If somebody doesn't think you're hot, like it is literally not the end of the world. There are like a million other people who do. Yeah. I've seen people who I don't find remotely attractive where everybody else is like, oh my God. Yeah. Like, and I'm not saying that like they're not, but that's the thing. It's subjective. So like if you're being yourself, not trying to be some fake version of yourself, like whatever. If you're being yourself genuinely and projecting, you're wearing clothes you want to wear. And this is where it comes in, where it's like if you compare it to like being a teen and like say you're in like a really conservative household and you want to be super emo or something and your mom won't let you, you can be wearing what everybody else is wearing. You could be wearing like your Lululemons and like whatever the fuck, and people at school can think like you're attractive, but you might not feel attractive. You know what I mean? And I feel like it goes the other way too, where it's like
that also makes you less attractive.
Yeah.
Because you're not
if you're not feeling yourself, you're just not going to be. But, so the same outfit that can make one person feel completely ugly and unattractive could be the same outfit that makes somebody else feel super hot. And it's not just outfits, it's like self-care too. Which is why I say everybody has the potential, because I think a lot of people that don't love themselves or don't like themselves don't take care of themselves, and which makes sense. And it's like a hard place to be in. I feel like I've felt that a couple different times in my life. Haven't in a long time, thank goodness, but like it's a hard place to be in. But once you kind of like come out of that, it's almost like a reverse psychology, right? We always talk about how like confidence is all mental. Mm-hmm. Like everybody is faking it till they make it, right? So to get out of that rut, I started asking myself like, what is the best version of me's like night routine? Mm-hmm. And then I started doing that and literally being like, oh, like I know the hottest version of myself would like be washing her face every night, like doing this, So I do that stuff, and it's not like a chase for perfection. It's literally a chase for like, what would you be doing? What is the best version of yourself doing? And then copy that. Like almost like act like the best version of yourself is like on a TV show. Because I feel like so many people like dream about what they want to be.
Like and what we were just talking about.
And it seems so far and off in the distance, but it's like, you have to bring that closer, okay? Like start little. It does not have to be a whole thing. Start small. Be like, oh my God. Like I literally had like what was it? I forget, but it was like some situation where like I had like a rough day, and it was like probably summertime, so I was like really sweaty and like hot. And I was like, I need to wash my face before I go to bed. And I was like, I don't feel like it. And then I was like, the sentence just came up in my mind of like myself being like, you're too cute to not wash your face. Yeah. And then I was like, fuck, I'm hot. Like, I can't not wash my face because I'm hot. Like, fuck. And so, like, I'm washing my face. You know what I mean? Like, I keep bringing that up, but that was, like, something that I did not do normally. And now, and then it got to a point where I was doing it regularly, but I would, like, skip some. I still skip sometimes. But then now it's to a point where, like, I do have to do it, like, most times. If I'm out, like, all day, I'll be like, oh, my God, I have to wash my face.
Yeah.
And it's, like, to the point where even when I don't want to do it, my body is like, bitch, you have to. Not because I look hot. It's literally because it's like ingrained in me now. It's like a fucking like thing that I do. So that is an example of almost like how I manifested like some like clear skin, like hotness, like whatever the fuck, glowy, whatever. So yeah, everybody has a potential. It's about taking care of yourself. If you are like, I've heard so many people, I do yoga, and I've heard so many people be like, I'm not flexible enough for yoga. And I'm like, what, you think there's like a flexibility requirement? Like you walk in and they're like, you have to be able to hit a split or you can't come in this yoga class. Like people get flexible from doing yoga. And it's like, you have to think like that and not like, I'm too out of shape to go to the gym. It's like, well, how are you going to get in shape then? Like, you know what I mean? And it's like, just take care of yourself. And also, don't think of it as, like, a punishment, too. Because I think that's, like, a big, I feel like that's a big thing. I feel like people, like, punish themselves with self-care a lot of times. They're like, I'm ugly, I have to do a face mask.
Right,
I'm like, don't do that. Don't do that, because now you're fucking it up. Like, you're fucking up the manifestation. You're not doing it right.
Now you are going to be fucking
You can't hate yourself pretty, guys. Like, you cannot hate yourself to be beautiful. Like, you have to be like, I am going to go to the gym because it's good for my body and it's good for me. Right. And then you go and you have endorphins and you're like, that was really nice. And because I feel like when I was going to the gym with the mindset of like, I need to be skinny, I would literally leave because obviously you don't go to the gym and walk out skinny. Right. So I would leave and be like, oh my God, I'm so fat. Like it would just be like such a fucking thing. And it's like, now you don't want to go because you didn't walk out skinny. And it's like,
there's no instant
it's like, it's not going to be instant. So you can't do it for the reason to be hot. You have to do it because you love yourself, and then the hotness just follows suit. Like, that's how I explain ugly people don't exist. So if you're in, like, a part of your life where you look in the mirror and you're like, oh, I feel gross, like, I have, like, all this, like, zits on my face. And I'm not saying, like, zits on your face are disgusting. I have zits on my face right now, right? So I'm not saying you're ugly if you have zits on your face. But if you're seeing that stuff and you perceive it as ugly on you,
other people might too, though, because you're putting that energy out there.
Yeah, that too. But, like, even just with yourself, like, start loving yourself in the hotness. You can't hate yourself in the hotness. It's not going to happen.
No.
Because hot people don't hate themselves.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Have you ever met a hot person that, there's some hot people that hate themselves.
I mean, yeah.
That are bad people. But I'm just saying, like, you know what I mean? They're not going to hate themselves, like, based off of how they look and like shit like that. Okay, so you got to just take care of yourself and love yourself, and it doesn't come easy, but it's you got to take
it's like
time.
An ego thing. Like when you have like the bigger the ego, the more hot you think you are, and then people, I swear, when you have a bigger ego or when you think you're hotter, more people are like attract to you and also agree that.
But then it's also like you have to balance it out, right? Because there's so many people who have like really shitty personalities and like really big egos that are hot, and it's like, oh yeah, you're like eye candy, but you're shit to talk to.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So if you want to be like all around, I mean, if you don't care about your personality, then fine. But if you want to be like all around, like just fun to be around, like attractive, like practice that. Practice, literally give yourself an acting job of like, what is the hot, I'm at a party right now. What is the most confident, hottest version of myself going to do? Go up to that person and be like, oh my God, I like your shoes. And then start a conversation. And then all of a sudden you're friends with that person. Like, it's easier than it seems. And I feel like when you say it, like, I hate bringing shit up like this because it sounds so like, well, like, if you just, like, tell yourself, like, once a day that you love yourself in the mirror, like, you will eventually. And it sounds so stupid, but it's true. And I know it's true because I did it. Like, it happened for me. And it did not happen overnight, and I think that's the problem. I think people are like, oh, it doesn't work. And it's because they, like, literally did it one day.
Yeah.
Or, like, tried for 1 second. And it's like, you're not going to feel this way overnight. Which is part of the problem. A lot of people don't want to put the work in.
It takes a while.
It takes a lot of internal work.
Once you have confidence, it's so fucking fun.
It's
like,
so
you just
fun.
like say whatever you want.
You go wherever you want.
Like,
you get so many opportunities from like I go places alone all the time, and then I'll meet people because at this point I really have always, my mom and just like teachers and shit, I've always been outgoing since I was a kid. So that's not, I don't think being like introvert is something I've ever dealt with. I definitely need alone time. I'm an only child. So like there's times where I'm like, I need everybody to shut the fuck up and I need to be by myself. But if I'm out and I chose to go out, like I want to talk to people and like meet people and like literally find out about somebody's entire life and then never see them again. Like I love that shit. Like I'm like, oh my God, like this is awesome. But I've been told, like, it just gets told to me all the time, oh, you make friends wherever you go. And my mom told me that all the time because I would move schools.
My mom used to say that, too.
You make friends wherever you go, Zori. I'm not worried about you. Yeah. And then I would be like, oh, like, because I'd be worried about me. And then I'd be like, yeah, I guess I do. Yeah. And then I started saying it to myself as I got older. I was like, oh, I had to make friends everywhere I go. And it, like, it did manifest for me, but it wasn't like an intentional manifestation. It was just like something that I was saying to myself. I was like, I make friends wherever I go. And now I'm like, oh yeah, I do. Yeah. And it just happens. Yeah. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'll go there by myself because I'll find somebody to talk to. And I do. No, seriously. And it's fine. And then I find somebody or I find new information. I talk to people. Like there's so many situations I'd be in or I wouldn't have been in or opportunities I wouldn't have had if I didn't just like kind of put myself out there. So that's not to say that if you're an introvert, you can't be confident, because you can. And I've met them. There's many that exist. It just looks different. But that's to say, like, just take a chance on yourself and love yourself. Yeah. Put yourself out there.
As a kid, we would go on vacation, and, like, in the swimming pool at the hotel, I would just make friends with everyone. Like, literally just, like,
dude,
for no
hotel
reason.
Swimming pools go crazy. They're so good.
They're a kid,
good. Such a great place to meet people, honestly.
Seriously. But, yeah, it just, like, confidence also makes you, like, more independent. Yeah. Low-key. And then, like, it's harder to be broken when you have confidence. Like, you're more...
I feel like now, as somebody who does, like, I would say I love myself, like, unconditionally love myself, it is so much easier for me to get myself out of a bad place. Yeah. Because I'm like, girl, if you don't get yourself some ice cream... Right. If you don't just, like, watch a show you love, like, just slow it down, like... I've gotten mad at myself for shit before, and I've, like, almost immediately now can turn it around. First it took forever to turn it around, and then it was like, oh, it took it took a while, but, like, and then all of a sudden now it's, like, second nature. I can just kind of, like, almost flip it around. As soon as I'm upset, I'm like, you know what? It's over. It's done with. We can move on. Like, it's fine. But, yeah, I think... I don't know. What else did I put on here? Hotness comes from within. I mean, yeah, we kind of talked about that. Yeah,
it just, you have to kind of, fake
you
it
have
till you
to,
make it
you have to feel it on the inside before you feel it on the outside. Because when I'm talking about confidence, I'm not talking about putting on a full face of makeup to go to Target. You can do that, and that's awesome, and that's a good part of it. But you should be able, if you don't feel comfortable not in...
public without makeup. Is that what you're gonna say?
Not just makeup, but like even like a good outfit. Like I can go in public with like sweats and a shirt and whatever and still feel confident. Yeah. I mean, I might not be like strutting like I would with like you know what I mean, but like I can still feel confident. So if your confidence is only there when you're fully done up, I'm not gonna say it doesn't count, but I'm gonna say maybe work on it more.
Yeah, I actually kind of feel sad for people that literally can't leave their house without makeup. Not because you just want to be cute and put on makeup.
Because there's nothing wrong with makeup. Like, it's just like if you are
it's bad when you can't leave the house without it. Doing your face
that's something else. Like, that's scary.
Like, yeah, it is. That makes me really, like, sad. Like, that's... I don't understand. And, like,
It's
they can
not.
be really cute
Yeah.
and pretty, like, but...
Yeah, and I'm not judging. It's just, like, a sad thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's definitely, like, you...
Like, I know some people like that. Or, like, school, like, high school, there'd be people who would never go without makeup
my
ever.
God.
And I'm like, what does that even mean? Like...
Like, I already had to wake up early. I was, like, not
Yeah,
gonna wake
right?
up earlier
None
to
of that-
do fucking...
Those girls
Yeah.
that would wake up at 5
Yeah,
a.m. to
could
get
not.
ready for 2.5
Yeah.
hours, like, oh my, it's not
Now,
that.
if you're doing that because you
It's
want
not that big of
to
a
and you
deal.
also feel confident without makeup, that's a different story. But if you're
Right.
doing it because you feel like you have to,
Yeah.
that's something that needs to be worked on.
I've, like, never understood that. I mean, I went through, like, maybe a tiny phase of that, like, but then it faded, and
I feel like everybody
realized-
has something. I feel like for the longest time I was like, I can't go out without mascara because I never
Yeah.
had a makeup phase.
Yeah.
I wish I had a makeup phase. I wish I knew how to do a full face. I don't
I
like
still don't know how to do a full
I don't
face.
like foundation, so I never like learned the rest.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I don't want paint. Like I don't want
paint.
I don't like
There's so many steps.
I just touch my face a lot. It's
Yeah.
not even the steps. It's like, because I always like grew up watching like makeup influencers and I like found it really relaxing. I don't like the feel of like, I tried foundation. I don't like it on my face.
Yeah.
Because I touch my face. So like it comes off and I'm like,
Yeah.
this is too much. I get like just like maybe a little bit of concealer. I don't even
Yeah.
have that, but like that's probably what I would do if I did anything. But I don't like having like something on my
Yeah.
face. I like eyes. I like doing
Yeah.
eye makeup
Yeah.
and like lips and
Yeah.
like maybe a brows at most.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to do a
I
brow.
don't even know how to do brows.
I don't know how to do a brow,
I barely even
but
know how to do good eyeliner, so...
yeah, so it's like that's not happening for me, but
Eyeshadow's fun, though.
yeah. So I think that's why it was easier for me to become confident without it because I was already not doing it.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not doing
Bro,
it.
I used to really, in high school, I used to do blue eyeshadow
Yeah.
like it was the 80s,
Yeah.
and I loved it. I
My-
felt so confident
No,
in
my one friend who did like a full face, she would also go out without makeup and be fine. Like, I mean, I'm not saying she like maybe was like in love with herself or whatever then, but like she definitely could go out without makeup on, and we did it all the time. But then when she did, like she did her shit. You know what I mean? Like it's art. Like fucking get into it. But
Like, yeah.
this next one is kind of like a big one: external validation versus internal validation. I feel like this is questions that you need to ask yourself. Because if you're only reliant on external validation, that's not good. If it's not bad to get external validation and like it. Yeah, like compliments.
Yeah, like to feed your ego.
Like if somebody's like if you go out and you feel cute, I guess, and nobody ever compliments you, are you going to be okay?
Oh, yeah.
I personally will because I fucking feed my ego just feed myself. I hype myself up. I'm my own hype man first and foremost. So that's not to say it doesn't feel good when other people acknowledge it because I'm like, ooh, shit. Okay, so I really, you know what I mean? But if I go out and like my cute as shit and nobody compliments me, I'm probably not even like focused on it because I'm already like feeling so hot all day.
That's
I'm
true.
just like focused on how hot I feel. So when other people like add to it, it's like just like spice that adds to
Yeah.
it. But it's not like, oh my God, I'm not getting it. And I feel
Right.
like that also goes with like the whole like, do you hate me thing, right? Because
Yeah.
I don't really care about, I'm not gonna say I don't care about, but I'm gonna say I don't rely on external validation to feel
Right.
good about myself. So if somebody's like, if somebody is giving the vibe that they hate me, I'm like, oh, like I don't think I'm gonna hang around them anymore because
Yeah.
I have enough respect for myself not to be around somebody that makes
Right.
me feel like shit.
Right.
So it's like instead of being like, oh, well, why don't they like me? I'm like, they're giving me bad vibes. I'm going. You know what I mean? It's like I'm
Right.
putting myself first. So, yeah, basically, if you love yourself wholeheartedly, external validation should not matter that much.
No, it shouldn't, but you'll also probably get it anyways because you're already feeling like that about yourself. Like, I noticed that, like...
It's weird. It comes more when you don't care about it.
Yeah. Like, I don't even try that hard. I throw on some makeup. I just put on a cute outfit. I go out, and I get compliments on things that I didn't even think I would. Like, it'd be like, oh, your makeup's so cute. Or your hair. And I'm like, I literally just straightened it.
It's like, it surprises me, honestly. I'll be like, oh,
Yeah.
shit. Like, that's not even
Yeah.
something that I even...
Yeah.
Whatever, and like thank you, I appreciate
Right.
it, but it's not, I don't know, I feel like external validation is something that like I've met a lot of people who like wholeheartedly rely on it, And it's,
Yeah, no.
not to be rude, but it's, almost annoying. Especially when it's, at you. Because I've had people that, are pining for my validation. And I'm like, why do you even care what I think?
Oh, when they're
I'm not that type of person.
Are you sure this is cute?
Yeah, or do you like me? Are you mad at me? Are you mad at me? Are you mad at me? I'm like, at this point, maybe, shit. Fucking, I don't know.
That was so high school, too. Everyone used to say that in high school.
But I know a lot of people, full-fledged adults who are just still,
they're still doing it.
They'll hang on to it all day, oh my God, this person, I told them that I couldn't give them $1 and they said it was okay, but I think they might be mad at me, they might hate me. And it's if somebody hated you for not giving them $1, you don't want to be friends with them anyway. And it's obviously that's a made up scenario, but it's always something where it's look at this from an outside perspective and be okay with people not liking you. I feel that is the hugest fucking advice I can give.
Literally.
Not everybody is going to like you. You are not for everybody, and not everybody is for you, and it's the exact same way. Not everybody has to like you. I'm fully comfortable with that, and I think that's why I don't care so much about external validation.
Yeah.
Because if somebody's oh, I don't like you, I'm that's your fucking right.
Right.
I'm not going to be for everybody, and that's okay. And if somebody's attacking you, that's something else. But if somebody just doesn't like you, you don't need everybody's validation to exist.
No.
You just don't need to be around them. It doesn't have to be a hate thing
it's
either.
It's just never gonna happen. No matter, even if you're the most famous, hottest person in the world, not everyone will like you. It's just how it is.
Fine. That's a part of life.
Yeah.
You don't like everybody you fucking meet, so why should everybody like you?
Being
you're not
a people pleaser is
it's exhausting. I'm telling you right now, if you are listening to this and you are a people pleaser, fucking just stop. Just stop. Save yourself. Get out of town. SOS. I don't do it because I was like that for the longest time. It was for me in middle school.
Yeah.
So I'm the type of person that I learn a lesson once and I'm I don't ever have to learn it again.
Yeah.
So I had all these friends and I was very much always giving myself, and they all just kind of fucked me over, and I was fuck it, I'm gonna be a bitch now then.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. And I realized that obviously that wasn't the answer either. I needed a balance, but it was really the lesson I learned was you don't need to be going out of your way to please everybody else. You come first. Mm-hmm. And then obviously the people around you who show you love, the way that you can exchange that with them and be safe and feel safe in your heart, and you don't have to be wondering. I'm telling you right now, if you're in a friend group and you're wondering if these people like you every day, that's weird.
Yeah.
That's weird. And I'm not saying it's on I'm not saying it's on you, but cuz obviously every situation's different, but if your friends are giving you vibes being weird and passive aggressive with you, don't be around them.
Being a people pleaser is
it's not
also
good.
Hurting yourself way more,
and
because it's a lot of energy, a lot of fucking energy.
There are so many manipulators that take advantage of people pleasers.
Right.
And that's where abusive relationships, I think a lot of abusive relationships start from that, whether it's physical or mental, a lot. And I'm not saying that's not me victim blaming or anything. I'm not saying that it's their fault, but I'm just saying it sucks because a lot of people pleasers manipulators will find them and be oh yeah, this is where it's at, because they're gonna do everything in their power to make sure that I stay here even though I'm a piece of shit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Know your worth, basically.
Right. And just do whatever the fuck you want. You're not gonna please everyone at all ever, so literally just do what makes you happy. Please yourself. How about that? Be a people pleaser for yourself.
Please, and that goes into my next point, which is fuck yourself.
In the best way possible.
No, literally.
So
we just talked about external validation, and I want to talk about that romantically too, because I feel everybody is obsessed with relationships, and not that there's anything wrong to be in one, but I feel a lot of people are getting into them for the wrong reasons, and we talked about this in a different podcast, I feel
yes
too, but basically, if your number one motivation in life is to get a significant other, maybe just focus on something.
Yes. We talked about focusing on yourself. You attract what you reciprocate.
Exactly. So. I feel I just will never understand actively being I can understand actively wanting a relationship.
Right.
That's fine. That's normal. but just actively being like, I need,
Just
like, I
always
can't
in
go
search.
on without this. If you haven't been single in years, like if you go from person to person to person, I'm telling you right now, you need to take some time by yourself.
Right.
Like, be by yourself for a little bit.
Because that clearly means that you
Because
can't.
you don't know who you even are without somebody else. So
Yeah.
in order to have confidence, you need to know how you are and be comfortable how you are, like, alone. I feel like.
Yeah, no, you definitely have to.
And people will be like, oh, like, what about, like, sex? Okay, well, fuck yourself. Like, there's literally, like, you can literally do that. That's an option, so.
Also, why are people so hung up on that?
I don't get it. I don't get it.
It's not the main thing.
I do
it's
not
literally
get it.
not. Growing up is realizing that that's not
It's
even
not
that
a
big
deal.
of a factor.
It's really not.
It's really not.
It's
and like,
fun, and that's not me saying, like, it's fun, of course, like, it's like, great, whatever, sex is awesome, but it's literally just not that big of a deal.
No.
And I feel like
it doesn't need to be the main thing of the relationship.
And you can get, I feel like you can get sex literally anywhere. Like, it's like,
You can get it at Target, you can get it at Walmart.
No, I've seen so many people that are just like, I don't know, in relationships for sex. And it's like, that's
weird.
fine.
That's
you can
so
be
fucking weird.
fucking friends with benefits, but why are you, like, saying that you love this person, you know nothing about them, and you just have, like, a good sex relationship? I don't know. It's just not worth it to get in a relationship.
You'd rather be emotionally or spiritually connected rather than being like, oh, our sex is, like, the thing that connects us. That's, like, the best highlight part of our relationship.
To me,
it's like,
the
that's
emotional
not-
and spiritual connection make the sex crazy.
Yeah,
Like,
makes
it
it
drives
better.
the sex up even better.
Yeah. Because if you don't
So-
have a connection on those levels, then it's literally just sex.
Whether it's,
Like,
I'm going to be honest, whether it's platonic or not, because, like, I've had friends with benefit situations where it's like, I genuinely care about the other person and they genuinely care about me, so I feel safe, and the sex is really good because of that.
Yeah,
But it's
yeah.
different if you're, like, casually having sex with somebody you barely know.
Yeah,
and,
that's
like,
just, I mean,
I'm
I
not
don't really
saying-
know what that is.
I don't-
I really don't. It's just kind of like,
it's weird.
you're bored almost or something.
Yeah, because it's like, I would rather
There's no
just
value.
not.
I know.
Like,
Yeah,
I would rather just not. Like, that's too much work.
and it's weird and it's awkward.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even.
It's
just,
not, no, because it's already going to be awkward
Nothing's
if
there.
you like them and there's
Right,
shit there.
right.
It's already going to be awkward the first time. So, I don't know. Basically, sex is not that big of a deal. And if you feel like it is, maybe search from within. I don't know about that. I'm not a clinical psychiatrist, psychologist. I'm not a
Yeah,
therapist,
I've
so.
never also been on
I don't know about that. I'm
dating
going to tell you, this is coming from me, and I'm not somebody who's very, like, not sexual. Okay, I'm a very sexual person.
You're a Scorpio.
I'm very, like, I feel like I don't come off, like, as sexual as I actually am. Like, at all. Like, I don't talk about it because it's not that big of a deal to me, but I do love it. Like, I do really, like, appreciate it, but, like, for me and myself, I'm not, like, needing it every fucking second. Well, because
You know,
I
it's the
fucking
worst
gotta
is
take-
when people, that's all they talk about.
I don't get
That's
it.
all they
I
fucking
don't get
talk
it. And
about.
that's all they care
And it's weird.
about.
It's weird. They talk about it, like, out loud everywhere, like,
It's
to
like-
random people, to coworkers. Like,
Out loud everywhere.
no, like, I don't know. Like,
I do know.
like, I don't know.
Hickeys.
That's just, like, when someone makes that their whole personality. And that's
It's like
all
you're
they talk about in
compensating for
every
something.
conversation. Exactly.
Because I can tell you right now, if I was told that I would not be having sex for the next 5 years, I would not blink twice.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, it's fine.
But,
like, it's not that big of a deal.
when you make it your whole, like, personality, it's just when
Yeah.
it's weird.
It's never.
Especially when you're, like, I don't know, a girl. Like, it's weird
yeah.
to make it your entire personality. Like, you bring it up in every conversation. Every answer you have is dirty to something that's not even dirty. Like,
like, just make it make sense. But, yeah. So, you know, spend some time alone.
also, wait, date yourself.
Yeah,
Like,
date yourself. Take
on
yourself
dates.
out.
Yeah.
Take that. I think that's a
Make
big
it not
thing.
weird.
People feel
Make
like
it
they
not
have
weird.
to, like, anytime I'm, like, feeling kind of like, oh, I'm bored, I want to do something, I'll be like, oh, let me just get dressed up. Like, I don't have to do, like, a whole thing, but, like, put on a cute outfit. I'll go on a walk, listen to a podcast, take myself out. One of my favorite things I used to do was, like, get stoned and go to, like, this Vietnamese restaurant. Like, I would walk there. So, like, the walk
Is it the
there
one?
was nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would walk there and then get, like, a big, like, this one time I was sick, actually. And I was like, oh, what can I do? And I literally was like, I need fresh air. I'm sick. Like, I'm not going to sit in the house. And I really just want a big thing of, like, soup. So I, like, literally got stoned. Like, walked to this fucking Vietnamese place. Sit down. I'm, like, high off my ass. I ordered, like, a big, like, pho soup. And they bring it to me. I'm, like, in heaven. Okay, I ordered, like, a hot tea. I was like, I need tea. I'm sick. Like, I ordered, like, a hot tea. Like, I finished the thing. I tipped them well. I leave. I was like, that was fucking good. Like, I'm, like, angry there is not a physical version of myself I can date. Because I am my perfect partner. I'm telling you that right now. Like,
yes and no, because sometimes I feel like if somebody was too exactly like me, I'd be annoyed. I'd be
too
like,
much. It's like, no. It's like I need something different. Yeah.
Like the things that I'm annoyed with about myself, like if you're that too, I'll be like, oh, it's just like, but no, sometimes it's really fun to look forward to taking yourself. Like, it's fun to, like, go get your coffee or to run errands by yourself. You know, running errands used to be, like, I could never do that by myself. I would always text a friend and be like, what are you doing? I can't go to the store alone. Wanna go to the store alone.
That, too. If you are somebody who does not like exercise, like, and just need to, like, move more, like, go drive yourself to Target and, like, do 3 laps. I'm sorry. I can do 3 laps in Target, no problem. Like, it's so fun to just, like, window shop or whatever. And I still do that alone. Like, and you can listen to a podcast in Target, too, because it's winter, so I know it's hard to walk outside. But, like, just put a little true crime podcast on while you're in fucking Target. Who knows? I don't know. I feel like it could be good.
But it's just like I was never able to do anything alone. It's still fun to go to the store with my friends, but I would literally have to be like, someone come with me. Like, I can't go alone. Like,
it's like you can though, you know. What was last one?
Manifestation, let go of attachment.
It's so dumb. It's so hard because it's like to tell yourself, like, okay, you know, every single thing that you want, you have to, like, let go of wanting it. Like, that sounds, like, so hard, and it just feels so, but it's true. Like, stop pining and, like, yearning after things, and, like, I mean, it's not, like, just stop, obviously, but, like, practice, bless you, but, like, practice, like, not being so attached to it, or attached to outcomes, or attached to anything, really. Because I feel like it almost drives you farther away from it in certain aspects. I mean, not always. It depends on, obviously, the situation. But, like, it can drive you farther away from something to be like, I want it so bad and I don't have it. Because almost, like, wanting something so bad is, like, bringing awareness to the fact that you don't already have it. So it's, like...
Well, then you can just change that, right? You can change it to being, like... Okay, so if you... I don't know. I literally can't think except for if you want to be famous. You can just tell yourself, I'm already famous. I have this many followers. I'm famous. Or something like that, right? Doesn't that change it around kind of a little bit?
It kind of does, but I also want to, like, bring up, because I feel like it's hard for a lot of people to do that, because it's like, okay, well, I'm not. So, like, how can I feel like I am and, like, say that I am? And I think, for me, I think of it almost as, like, start small, right? So if you're... For example, with the famous thing, if you're, like, so attached to, like, wanting to be seen by more people, because that's essentially what fame is, then kind of take it to the root. So it's not necessarily just fame. It's being seen by more people and acknowledged by more people. I would almost come up with me, like, prescribing affirmations. I would almost come up with, like, a list of affirmations regarding being seen and acknowledged by more people. So it's, like... I get along with people easily. I talk to people easily. I find connections easily.
Right,
I enjoy every conversation I have, and other people feel the same way. Like, everything just comes natural to me. Yeah. And then that kind of opens avenues for you, rather than pining after, like, oh, well, I need the fame and, like, whatever. Because it's just, like, going to drive you farther away from it. And I'm not saying that that's going to make you famous overnight, but I'm saying that's how I would visualize that, instead of, like, I want fame or I need fame, and you know what I mean? I would change that to, like, I am somebody who, like, knows a lot of people, and I network easily, and I meet the right people, and I I would add something in there for me specifically about, like, I can read people's vibes easily, because that's something you know, knowing a lot of people isn't always the best thing.
Right.
You can know a lot of shitty people.
It's the same thing for, like, money, too,
yeah.
right? Like, you attract money easily.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
money's always
yeah.
flowing.
Yeah, money comes to me easily. Money comes in and out. Reminding myself that is honestly a big thing. So
I always say money comes and goes.
Yeah, because
it just does. It literally does.
That's a fact.
Does. Like,
that's a fact, because I get so stressed when money leaves, but I never really acknowledge when money comes. And I'm like, I get money a lot. Like, I receive money a lot.
As much money that has ever left has also come back.
And I mean, this is like a whole other podcast, like, topic, but, like, getting into manifestation, that the root of manifestation, because obviously there's so many fucking, like, misinformations out there with TikTok now, and, like, people misperceiving things and thinking that they can write something 33 times and they'll get it the next day. I think the root of it is gratitude. And I always heard, when I was studying, like, witchcraft and stuff, I always heard from, like, senior witches saying, like, right before you manifest something or write what you want to bring in, you have to write your gratitude and what you're grateful for. And I always was like, why? Like, I never understood it until I started doing it, and then it made sense. It puts you in the mindset of, like, I already have so much. A lot of times when people see manifestation, it's like almost like a get rich quick scheme, right? They're like, oh, I don't have this, I need this thing, so I need to just, like, say that I have it already, like, 5 times. That's not how it works. This is not a video game that has cheats. I feel like it's very much just, like, being grateful. Once you're grateful for what you have, because that's you have to find the good, because it's all happening all at once.
Right.
It's never not happening. There is at least one good thing that happens to you in each day, even if it's the tiniest fucking thing, right? So if you are focusing on those things, acknowledging that the bad still happens, yes, but, like, focusing on the good, and even, like, taking, like, 5 minutes to say, like, these are some good things that happened to me today. These are some good things that happened to me this week, this month, this year, and acknowledging them and seeing them, and then truly, like, being like, I'm glad that happened, and, like, feeling it. Like, it takes time, which is why, like, these people are like, oh, like, manifestation doesn't work. 'Cause, like, I tried it once when I wrote my crush's name, like, 222 times in my journal, and, like, he still doesn't like me. It's like, well, girl, there's so many layers to that. But also just, like, be grateful for what you have. You know what I mean? Obviously, everybody's different, and everybody has, like, struggles and shit, but, like, honestly, you will be a happier person if you start, like, looking for things to be grateful for.
Right.
Because, again, it's, like, it's one of those things, like, I'm always going to notice when money is leaving my bank account, but I never really blink twice when money enters. I never am like, oh, my God, I got money. Like, money. Like, I'm never, like...
Honestly, I do sometimes, but that's when it's, like...
A lot, yeah.
Yeah.
Or, like, I mean, I'm always like, yeah, I got a paycheck, but I'm not, like, it's not to the same extent that I feel if that same amount of money were to leave my bank account.
Oh my God, like,
and it's not our fault. Like, shit is expensive. It's not, like, our fault, but it's more of, like, change your relationship, because the system isn't going to change. I'm, like, trying to change my relationship with it, and because that's the best I can do. Even if I was to be, like, broke for the rest of my life, I'd at least want to be happy, and the only way I could do that is by finding good in my day-to-day life. Like,
I literally, even if I buy, like, $20 worth of groceries, I'm like, wow, you know, it takes me, like, an hour to make that much money at work.
Yeah.
So that's where it trips me up. But then it's also dependent on your work. So when you view it like that, so when I bartend and I come home with over $200 that night, and I swipe my card and I use $20 for something, I don't think about that.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I made $200 in a night. Yeah. Not like, oh, this whole week of work.
Yeah.
$20 is 1 hour of work. Mm-hmm. Like, no, at the bar, like, it's like $50 an hour. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? So I don't think about it like that. So it's also dependent on how much money you're getting all the time, and, like, where
it does,
because,
like, I've heard people, like, say, because, like, one of the big things with, like, money manifestation in particular is, like, what about, like, homeless people, right? They're like, are you saying that, like, homeless people need to manifest their way out of being homeless? And I'm like, no, that's not what I'm talking about. That's literally not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the people people that like are like I'm not sitting here being like, oh, you're homeless, it's because you're not manifesting. Like, that's not what I'm saying. And I don't think that's what really anybody's saying. There may be some fake people on the internet saying that, but I think it's more of just like it's a shift in perspective. Manifestation is a shift in perspective. It is not a sentence that you write down. It is not something you say and think in your head. It is something that you feel and start to practice seeing every day, right? So that's where it comes in, where I was talking about like saying I love you to yourself in the mirror is like one of those things that people laugh at and they're like, that's not going to make me love myself. But I'm sorry, 130 days in, you're going to see something you like on your face after saying I love you. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to like go out of your way. If you constantly find yourself going out of your way to pick out the negative, just try to go out of your way to find something positive. Like, literally, for me, that came kind of easy, but that also was like, I've been practicing this shit for so long that like, if I want to change my perspective on something, it really doesn't take much. I still have to put work, but it really doesn't take much now. I can kind of like flip a switch now, but it wasn't always like that. And you can just like kind of change it, right? So if you find yourself like, oh, my coffee was fucked up, I lost like a $5 bill, like my boss is an asshole, my life fucking, it's so easy to spiral because you'll keep finding shit. And I feel like that's a part of manifestation too, because you receive what you see, right? So if you keep seeing like how everything around you is shit, there's no way anything around you is going to get better. So if you start picking out little things, that's not to say that your boss is automatically going to not be an asshole. He might be an asshole, but it might not bother you as much because you see all these other good things that are going on. So that's how I explain manifestation. But yeah. Are we